welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 298.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi in the comments.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time we're thankful for you, you'll be alerted to it. Alert, alert, alert. We are super thankful for you.
So we are still up here at the farm. It is cold. It's been dropping into the 50s and 40s at night.
I am loving
Except for you make me turn on the heat. So how much do you really love it?
I knocked the heat off last night. Did I not tell you to turn the heat off when we were done? Because I actually really enjoy this cold weather. As you can see, Joe is pretty bundled up. I'm a short sleeve girl. You're in a hoodie.
It's cold out. It's
Not that
58 degrees outside right now.
I think it's lovely.
So welcome to our channel. If you are new here, this is Keto Beyond the Couch. We do this every Monday at 10 a.m. Keto Beyond the Couch focuses on our community. We love to celebrate our subscribers and answer questions and comments that we found on our social media from the last week. The best place to ask your questions is on our Mighty Networks group. It's completely free, members.twocrazyketos.com. If you want to support us, you can join one of the groups in there. But it is completely optional. Most of our stuff is in the main free section. Now, the way we like to do this, if you're new here, is we're going to go over all the questions and comments that we found, and we won't really address the chat until the very end of the stream, like the last 10 or 15 minutes. So if you have a question and you want to ask it in the chat, go ahead and hold off until then, or use the super chat function, which we greatly appreciate it. This is our full-time job, and that does support our channel. It also highlights our screen and lets us know that you have a question so we don't miss it and we can get to it right away.
Today, I just want to say happy birthday to our oldest son, John Paul.
Yep.
If you have a chance, go over to the Brighter Day Electric Instagram. They've got a post there of like, happy birthday to JP. Let's blow it up over there. Say, Mom and Dad said, happy birthday.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just to let you guys know, we're going to be doing, probably tomorrow, we will release a Black Friday sale, video going over some of the Black Friday deals that we are looking forward to taking advantage of, and some of things that we have that we know are going to be on sale for Black Friday. We will have a second one for Keto Chow on Thursday, because we can't tell you what it is until Thursday,
Right.
But I can tell you this.
Stuff is happening.
In addition to the flavor that we all know that they are releasing a flavor, they're doing a guess the flavor right now.
Tuna melt.
There will also be 3 flavors of salty, 3 new flavors of salty. And I will tell you this, they're very good.
One of them is armpit sweat, nasal drainage.
That's not funny.
And the
This is not Harry
water
Potter.
that pours off of right like that every flavor of bean, every flavor of salt.
And the only reason I can tell you that is because Chris kind of spilled the beans on Thursday, so I feel like I'm allowed to say it because Chris said it during our live stream.
We can say that new flavors exist. That's what we can say.
Yeah, so we don't have to deny that
It's fun to have something exciting to look forward to. I'm that many years old. When there is a happy surprise. Now, don't get me wrong. When there's a surprise, like I ordered something and it's out of stock, like that's not a happy surprise. But if there's a happy surprise, I like having a happy surprise.
Now, before we even get to that, I do want to say, if you are looking to support us in any way, if you get any kind of value out of these, a couple things you can do. Number one, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And then also, as you're shopping for Black Friday, we would really appreciate it if there's anything that you're looking to get use one of our links. And if you're looking to buy anything on Amazon, go to our Amazon store or use any of the Amazon links that are down below, even if you're not buying that item. Like if we have a link for liquid sucralose, but you don't want to buy liquid sucralose, if you click on that first and then do your Amazon shopping,
you're helping
doesn't
us.
cost you any money, but it throws us a couple of pennies. And it's really in the form of Amazon money, which allows us to buy ingredients. It allows us to buy new cameras
Feed
and things
turkeys
like that.
and chickens.
Well, you got to be able to buy it from Amazon, which we don't buy that from
No, I
Amazon.
mean, like, but we use the money to buy turkey food ultimately, right?
So, yeah, we really appreciate it if you support us in that way. But just like, sharing, and subscribing really does help our channel.
Can I share one exciting thing that is happening?
What?
Backed by popular demand. We will be having triple B and E, and we ain't like gonna wait for the ball to drop on 2025. 2025's triple B and E, it's going to be starting December 26th. Usually that last week before a new year, people get into some serious trouble.
Yes.
So we're going to head it off at the pass, and we're going to walk into 2025 super victoriously. Keep posted, because Joe's going to be opening up the course. If you've ever purchased a course in the past, you can join us once again.
Yeah.
But if you're new and you're like, man, I would love to have a program to start and get 2025 started out right, join us for that.
Yeah, so we have a complete course going over different options, ingredients, things like that. We'll talk about it a little bit later on in the stream as well. We have several videos, and then we do a weekly live stream, like kind of check-in call along with that course. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you go join our Mighty Networks, because the course does take place within the Mighty Networks group. Again, completely free to join Mighty Networks. The course will have a small fee, but we really appreciate it. But let's jump right into
10 new recipes already.
10 new recipes. Okay. So let's jump right into Keto Beyond the Couch. Before we do that, I do want to give you a little reminder, because we have Black Friday.
Yeah.
And with Black Friday, there are sales on cruises and things like that. I am a travel agent. If you're looking to do a cruise, hit me up at 2kktravel@gmail.com. I can help you arrange your cruise.
Super
Doesn't cost you
discounts.
any money, but you take advantage of different deals and things like that. And we also have the 2KK birthday cruise, which is taking place next year. We do have some open cabins. You're not going to find a lower price than we've got. I think an ocean view balcony for 2 people is like $1,040.
That's $1,040 per person?
No, total.
That's freaking cheap.
Yeah, and an inside cabin
For
is somewhere around
vacation?
like $750 for 2 people. And we'll be sailing out of Miami.
I can't have that vacation with like 2 nights in just like a hotel in Orlando.
Yeah.
Doing nothing, not feeding me.
Yeah.
Is more expensive than that.
And then also, just to give you guys a preview, in 2026, can't release the details until the new year, but just to give you a preview, we will be doing a joint cruise with a few other YouTube channels.
Yeah.
On a different cruise line. I believe it's Norwegian. That'll be in 2026, so make sure you stay tuned for all the details. We're super excited about that one.
Yes.
We are super excited
Very
about that.
different, like something new. I love that, like, the family just continues to expand.
Yeah.
What a blessing. Thank you, Lord.
So let's jump right into our first post from Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Matt put up this little thing that said 8 things to remember. The past cannot be changed. Everyone's journey is different. Overthinking will lead to sadness. Happiness is found within. Kindness is free. You only fail if you quit. What goes around comes around, and smiles are contagious.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. Have a great week. I feel like we could end right there. I think because if we could really get that down, if we would remember that at the beginning of every single new day, I think that we would be able to de-stress and enjoy our life so much more. You know, when you've got that, like, checked off, all of those things checked off the boxes, now the only thing I need to do next is like eat meat, enjoy life. That's it.
I see Denise said, can you do a video describing your experience with the Savage system? I'm thinking about doing it. We can absolutely work on something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one we have is from Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie.
Bonnie said, yesterday I had my yearly doctor visit. I've been high in cholesterol, but very high HDL and low triglycerides. She actually told me that their endocrinologist has done a lot of research, and those are important ones. So that's good enough for her.
Wow.
Yes, and even better. Today, I checked on their portal. A couple years ago, my A1C had crept up to 6, and that was when I officially started doing keto. I was very determined to not become diabetic like my mom. It has slowly come down, but today it was 5.3.
Wow.
I was very excited to see I am no longer even close to being pre-diabetic, and my family thinks I'm a bit crazy, but it is so worth it.
It is so worth it. I mean, really, like, stop for a second and think, how crazy are you really? Is it crazy?
You're healthier, but you're crazy.
To be healthy. I feel so encouraged as we step into 2025. People are already talking about, you mean I can discover better health on my own? I can move the needle on my own. I really feel like we are about to be, yes, two crazy ketos, certainly, but I feel like the rest of the world that maybe has never even thought of pursuing a keto lifestyle is going to be like, maybe it's not as crazy as we thought.
Yeah, and if it makes you feel any better, a lot of our friends and family still think we're crazy for this lifestyle, and a lot of them really think we're crazy for wanting to have a farm and move from the city into the country. So,
yeah, but then
don't feel like you're alone. People, they all think we're crazy too.
But when people see that you're like healthy and you seem at peace, you know, and you're enjoying your life. Oh gosh, you never took the tag off. It's kind of like they're like, okay, yeah, it's maybe a little bit crazy, but I want that.
Yeah.
I want that better health. I want that peace.
Next one we have is from Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Said, my friend wants a SodaStream for Christmas. Are there different models or anything like that? So, yes. So, SodaStream, there's a few different models. It's pretty hard to find the old models now, so you don't really have to worry about that unless you're buying a used one, like on OfferUp or something like that. But they have a couple of different, like, standard models. So I left a link down below for what I think are the best two models for SodaStream currently, and they're on Black Friday deals for like $80 and $90. And it's the Terra models. That's what we use. So you have the regular manual Terra model, which is, I believe, on Black Friday for $79, which is insane.
That's crazy.
With the $79 one, you have to actually manually press like the plunger button to put the carbonation in. So you press it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, depending on how much carbonation you want. It's completely manual. For $10 more, and usually it's a lot more, you can get the E-Terra model, which is the one we have. The E-Terra model is electric. And basically it's got 3 buttons on the top, and you press 1 for regular carbonation, 2 for a little bit more, and 3 for a lot of carbonation. I will say the more carbonation you put in, the more stuff you go through. So that's just, you'll go through a lot more CO2 if you're always hitting the 3 button.
Yeah.
I like the electric model just because it's easier. The downside is, like, in it, you have to have electric to use it. It will not work without electric. So that's just a little downside. You have to have it near an electrical outlet. But both are great. We also have a video on how to modify SodaStreams. Specifically the Terra models. I left a link for that down below as well as the on Black Friday right now, they are having a sale on the hose that you need to make that adjustment.
If you're the person who has to bring drinks to the Thanksgiving celebration and you have to pick up like some diet soda, or like fizzy bubble water, you realize, like, oh my gosh, you're reminded we need to start making our own soda because it is expensive.
It's expensive. And it's not
crazy.
A lot cheaper to make it at home. But again, if you don't want soda, you just want seltzer water. If you want to make, like, if you like the cans of Element, you can literally make it yourself, but with salty or Element or whatever you want, because you can just put whatever electrolyte you want into that bubbly water. I'm missing my modification. We don't have it here in the RV, but so we're going through the little canisters a lot. Also, if you go to SodaStream's website, if you do like their sodas and their syrups, like they have like Pepsi One and Mountain Dew Zero, it's like 25 or 30% off of the syrups right now.
As you're designing the kitchen, that cabinetry, things will be designed with that SodaStream in mind.
Absolutely.
It's funny.
Next one we have is from Mary Jane.
Hey, Mary Jane.
Did Lily's chocolate chips change their ingredients? I've never had digestive issues previously with this product. I haven't had them all summer and bought one back this week. I'm pretty sure something has changed. Anyone know? Yeah, they added dextrin to it.
Yeah.
And so understand with a lot of these products, when they start adding a lot of fibers, and this is where you have to be careful, is those fibers cause digestive issues. You know, there's this myth, we talked a little bit about last week, that we need fiber, which we really don't. And eating too much fiber actually causes more digestive issues, and not usually in the way of going to the bathroom, like having, like diarrhea. Eating a lot of fiber causes like gastric distress. It can cause bloating. Eating a lot of fiber can cause you to have constipation. Everybody associates it with going to the bathroom, but eating a lot of fiber can actually cause constipation.
Well, think about, like, they talk about, toddlers having a really hard time going to the bathroom. And then, when you look at sometimes what they're eating, it's like nothing but a ball of like those goldfish crackers,
right?
Or like, Cheerios and stuff like that. And just imagine, like, take that, dice it up, add some water to it. You're going to get a dough ball, like, just absolutely stuck in your system.
And this is just a reminder, with any kind of product you buy, always check the ingredients on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like if it's something you've been buying over and over again, like people are noticing like some of this regular heavy creams that people buy in the store, all of a sudden they're adding other ingredients to it. So, you always want to make sure you check the labels every once in a while, even if it's something you've been buying for years, because they do on a regular basis. Companies will change their process, change ingredients, things like that. Speaking of which, I was kind of going back and forth with somebody on the heavy whipping cream, your favorite video, where you had to face the truth about about whipped cream, about like labeling guidelines and carbs. And the person was discussing with me that because the label says 0, it may actually be 0 and they think that we were overestimating the amount of carbs in the whipped cream in the purple can. Remember this: by law, companies must round down. They have to round down. It's not an option. Like if the carb count on something is 1.17, they are not allowed to put that on the nutritional label. They must round. They must round to 1. So if something if a product has 0.49 or less carbs per serving, they must put 0. If it's between 0.5 and 1, then they put less than 1. They have to round down. All heavy cream has a minimum of 0.413 carbs per tablespoon. So the cleanest heavy cream, go to the cow, pull it out, make heavy cream yourself. 0.413 carbs per tablespoon. So that gets rounded down to 0 on a nutritional label, but there are carbs there. So if you have 4 tablespoons of heavy cream throughout the day, then you had close to 2 carbs. With whipped cream, if you look on that purple can, it says there's 2 tablespoons in a serving, which is a joke. The thing is it takes 1 tablespoon of heavy cream to make 2 tablespoons of whipped cream, roughly. It's actually a little bit more than 1 tablespoon, but it expands basically because you're whipping it and making air. That means that 2 tablespoons of whipped cream is 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. Therefore, 2 tablespoons in the purple can would be roughly 0.413 carbs. So unless you're measuring out an actual tablespoon, every time you pull out that purple can or any kind of can of sugar-free heavy whipping cream, you are basically getting several carbs from that whipped cream.
I guess I'm that like person who always wants to underpromise and overdeliver. I just don't see the benefit of underestimating. Like, yeah. I think that it is just better even if you think like Joe is dead wrong, what is the harm of just following that protocol? If you are correct, you're fine. If they're incorrect, it may cost them what their outcome.
It's all about denial. It's all about companies selling products The bigger labeling problem in the United States is not that they get round down. The bigger problem is there's no set standard in the United States for what a serving size is. So they get to determine their serving size to a point. I mean, they're supposed to be reasonable, but again, when you go over to Europe, serving sizes or the package are 100 grams.
Yeah.
So when you pick up the one I like to pick on, like, we won't even pick on the pork rind companies. Like, there's a peanut that shows up a lot of times in, like, keto crates. It's called Pazoots.
Pazoots.
They're very good, except for when you pick up the package, they're like, there's 1.17 servings per container.
You're
they
like,
do that so that they can round the nutritional label.
Well, another product line that does that is oftentimes tomato sauce. Check your tomato sauce. Within the same brand, you will sometimes see different flavors have different measurements. So like you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get this one because there's less carbs in it. Check and see, is it one will be measured a half a cup, one is going to be measured a fourth of a cup.
Yeah.
And that's in this, that could be in the same brand.
It's like spices. Like on all nutritional labels pretty much use a quarter of a teaspoon as a serving size for spices, which now makes your carb count 0, but all spices have carbs.
Yeah.
So like nobody only uses a quarter of a teaspoon of chili powder or cumin or taco seasoning. So when you multiply it out, there's a lot of carbs in it. Also, speaking of taco seasoning, somebody the other day, I don't remember who it was, maybe John, posted up a thing about taco seasoning, and they're like, it looks clean. Understand when a company puts other spices, that other spices can include maltodextrin.
Right.
It can include maltodextrin. So unless they're actually listing out the spices, personally, I would not trust a label that says spices. I want them to list out every spice because they do generally put maltodextrin or anti-caking agents in those, and they don't have to list it. They can literally just list it under spices, other spices.
Check out twocrazyketos.com. Under our recipe section, we actually have a taco seasoning that you can just make yourself, make it in a big batch and just have it.
Yep. Next one's from Ola.
Hey, Ola.
Does gratitude help sleep? Not sure, but today's gratitude is slept 8.5 hours without waking up. That happens maybe once every few months. Last water was 6 p.m., which was a bit early, but I'll try again today.
Awesome.
So yeah, gratitude is going to lower your stress level. Lowering your stress level is going to help you to sleep better.
If there's still something on your mind, like write it down, whether it's good or bad. Like I'm excited about tomorrow or I am dreading something like in the future. Write it down so that it is heard, it is seen, it is acknowledged. And yeah, it is going to affect your sleep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So a lot of people talking about, pizza sauce versus tomato sauce. Absolutely. But a lot of people don't notice that. People don't look at the serving size, and that is the problem. We turn it over, we just look at the calories and things like that, but understand, like things like 100-calorie Oreos. Okay, we don't eat Oreos on keto, but all they're doing is lowering the serving size. Like, there's no difference in the Oreos themselves that are in that package over the regular Oreos. They're just saying that, well, there's 2 cookies, and that's 100 calories, and that's how they can get away with that kind of stuff. It's not like they're making them healthier.
Right.
They're just lowering the serving size. It's a marketing game. Just understand all these companies are doing.
It's a business.
They're trying to sell you something.
It's not personal. It's just business.
Next one's from Jeannie.
Hey, Jenny.
My hens are laying fewer eggs now that the days are shorter and colder, so I can't get as many eggs as I want from my local farms, and I need to buy some. What is the most nutritious choice at the grocery store? Organic. So here's the thing about eggs, and we actually have something in our beef, butter, bacon, and egg course all about eggs. And we did a video, but I could not find the link for it. When it comes to purchasing eggs, okay, your best bet is always farm fresh eggs, if you can find them. Okay, Rachel and I were actually talking about it the other day. We go to the animal auction every Friday night, and there are people who sell their eggs there, and they generally sell for between $3 to $6 a dozen. And you're talking about eggs that literally came from the chicken's butt within the last week.
Nice.
When you go to the grocery store, understand this. On average, those eggs are 30 to 60 days old. Even the good ones, even the pasture-raised one, they're old. They're 30 to 60 days old. Eggs are good for a long time, especially when you refrigerate them. So they can actually have a best by date on the eggs, and the best by date is 60 days from when they go into the carton.
That's a lot.
That's a long time. So when you're going to, if you can't get farm fresh eggs, like, because again, this time of year, hens don't lay as much, what you want to do is try to get the best possible one would be pasture raised, like in a store, pasture raised. Pasture raised chickens are going to have more, eggs are going to have more vitamin D, like 4 times more.
They see sunlight.
Which directly goes into your body. If you cannot get them or afford them, the very next option, best option, would be true organic eggs. So I pulled this little thing out of my beef, butter, bacon, egg just because I want to make sure I say it right. The rules for organic eggs require that the chickens consume pesticide-free feed. So that's number one. That's what makes them organic. So their feed is all pesticide-free. They must be cage-free. And they must be free roaming hens, and the chickens have to have been afforded access to the outdoors. Now, it doesn't mean they went outside. It means they had access to the outside. So my suggestion is buy the cheap eggs, the cheapest eggs, if that's the most you can afford, or or pasture raised. If you can't get that, get organic. Personally, I would try to not buy the cheapest ones at all. There's a huge difference. The other thing about eggs is you're going to see labels like hormone-free, antibiotic-free. All eggs are hormone-free. And you will notice they've made the companies change the label because you would see them with this marketing gimmick, hormone-free eggs. They now must put on the label carton when they put that. If they put hormone-free, they must say, all eggs in the United States are hormone-free.
You're not getting an advantage.
Also,
it's just the rules.
All eggs are antibiotic-free. So, yes, sometimes poultry has to get antibiotics. We're giving one of our turkeys antibiotics right now. That's to make them healthier because maybe they get sick. Even free-range chickens and turkeys get sick. But when a turkey or a chicken or any animal is given antibiotics, for the eggs, those eggs, first of all, they stop laying eggs when they're getting the antibiotics. But for a certain amount of time, I think it's like 3 or 4 days minimum after the antibiotics end, all of those eggs have to be taken out of production. So you are never getting eggs from chickens that are currently on antibiotics.
Yeah. So
I would say if you're going to the store, get organic or get true pasture raised. Cage-free is a joke. Don't bother. And also, free range is a joke. Don't bother. Free range chickens just literally means they have to have access to the outside. It could be a 2-foot by 2-foot hole in the side of a barn that's housing 3,000 chickens leading out to a 3-foot by 3-foot piece of grass.
If they can find it.
If they can find it, they can go in it, but it doesn't mean they're all using it. And then when you consider the fact that by law, organic eggs, those chickens must have access to the outside and must be cage-free. That already takes away from, if you're buying organic, you are getting cage-free, and if you're buying organic, you are technically getting free range.
Yeah.
So the other ones are just a way for them to charge more money. The only thing I would say about eggs is avoid anything that says 100% of vegetarian-fed chickens, because chickens aren't vegetarians. So hopefully that answered that question. Next one is from Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne.
Quick question. I found a Black Friday deal on the Ninja Woodfire Grill and Smoker. Has anyone experienced with the grill? And is $199 a good price? So Ninja's having some great sales on their Black Friday deals. Right now we have a link down below for if you buy directly from Ninja. It does help out the channel. They're having a lot of different Black Friday sales. The Woodfire Grill is a great option if you can't have charcoal, if you can't have propane, if you're just looking for a little outdoor thing. You can smoke a couple steaks, a small roast. It's a great grill. As a matter of fact, Anthony called me the other day looking for something for his apartment, and I actually told him to get the Ninja Woodfire Grill.
Because they have, different, places have rules of like what you can have on your back patio even.
Next one is from Andy.
Hey Andy, last night I drank some Magnesium hot cocoa brand because we had a fire in the fireplace and I knew the temperatures were dropping. I have in the past taken magnesium as my nightly ritual, but I've slacked off a bit lately. I feel good this morning at 5:30 in the morning. My 3 a.m. wake up to pee didn't happen. I slept through and that's wonderful. Sometimes we do stuff and slack off because of a change in routine. Feel the difference to make your own N=1 experiment. I'm going back to my magnesium glycinate nightly regimen. It really helps my sleep be better.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this, and it's part of the topic, but there is another question about it. About electrolytes will help you with not having to get up in the middle of the night. Next one is from Carla.
Hey, Carla.
What is the name of your farm channel, and what do you want the logo to have on it? So the name of our farm channel is going to be the Double K Farm, and we are looking for something kind of simple with like a sheep. If you are religious at all, think about like really a lamb. So think about pictures of like a lamb in Christianity, that kind of thing. Like kind of like a simple, but I want it to look good both in black and white, but also where we could color it if we were making kind of shirts
Stickers.
or anything like that. But I do want it to be simple, and I want it to look good in black and white. But kind of like a lamb, maybe some chickens or something like that in the middle with like the Double K Farm around it. Next one is from Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Did someone help me? My husband has his numbers and I can't remember the calculation for cholesterol. Divide something by cholesterol number and should be below 2, right? I'm having a brain fart. I have those all the time. Don't worry about it. So yeah, when it comes to cholesterol, the better numbers, as we saw earlier, to be looking at are HDL triglycerides. We don't concern ourselves with LDL unless you're going to get an NMR where you're going to find out what type of LDL you have. Is it big fluffy? Is it small sticky? You want to have big giant good fluffy stuff. But the better marker to look at is your HDL and your triglycerides. You want to have high triglycerides, rather high HDL, sorry about that, high HDL, low triglycerides, and you divide the one by the other. Optimally, you want to see better than 1-to-1, but the more HDL to triglycerides you have, the better off you are. So if you have like a 3-to-1 HDL to triglycerides, that would be flippin' awesome.
Flippin' awesome.
You know, so yeah, so you're going to take your HDL and your triglycerides and divide those.
Did I marry somebody that says flipping awesome?
Yes.
I feel like I've married well.
Next one's from Andy.
Hey, Andy. Prayers appreciated as I have an opportunity to share the PhD. Backstory. I came to keto 1.75 years ago because of an A1C of 6.2 with a doctor who wanted me on metformin. I said no. Fast forward to an A1C of 5.4. A dear friend and former yo-yo dieting buddy let me know she is on pre-diabetic and wants my help. We have shared years of dieting together as a part of our friendship. She has seen my changes and I need to figure out how to proceed when we meet Friday. Any suggestions? Appreciated. Yes. This is the season of Thanksgiving. This is the season of the, being with people you love. And this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for you to probably share keto
and our channel.
Like as we go into the new year, their hearts are receptive to a new way of thinking as you start a new year and they start thinking, is there room for improvement?
Yeah. So my suggestion, if they are indicating they're receptive, is number one, talk about your successes and your accomplishments. Talk about the fact that it's not just about weight loss. A lot of people think keto is just about weight loss, but talk about some of the health benefits that you have achieved. Also, a big thing that really making them a tasty food.
Yeah.
So especially if they're a dessert person, go find an easy recipe. We have a lot of them on our website. Like Carolyn Ketchum has a lot. Like there's a lot of keto treat recipes out there. Make them something keto that's delicious and be like, here's something you can eat. It's not just steak. You don't only have to eat beef. There are a lot of options. You can make them like our meat layer lasagna. I have never met somebody that I've given it to that was like, this is horrible and it's not like lasagna.
Right.
I mean, it's meat and cheese and tomatoes. I mean, it's delicious and it's very similar, has the same texture and everything as having a lasagna. So when you show them that there are great alternatives, in the keto lifestyle, it makes them even more receptive.
Well, and let them know like the deprivation that they are so scared about, because usually that's what people are thinking. What am I going to miss out on if I do this? If you let them know it's not going to be as bad as you're anticipating, then that kind of like takes the worry out of it.
Let's take a quick fade.
In fact, this morning I actually put up on Instagram a story that's like a throwback to talking with my mom, who for more than 20 years was a type 2 diabetic. She is no longer a diabetic, and like what a blessing that is. And like to be all of that medicine gone, and just like her life is so different now that she's no longer diabetic. But of course, you come to times like this, like Thanksgiving, and I just point blank asked her in a past video, like, do you feel like you're deprived? Do you feel like you are missing out? And she was able to just kind of articulate, yes, it's different. If you're thinking that it's going to be exactly the same, no, of course it's not. Like, we do things differently. That is right and reasonable. But the better health, the looking better, like the life that I have, it is worth it. If you want to take a long walk, if you want to be able to ride your bike, if you want to be there dancing at your grandchildren's wedding and you want to give yourself a better shot at that, like then it's worth it.
Yep. I did see Jeannie said, thank you for answering my question. I've never seen pasture raised eggs in a store here, so I'll look for organic. I think Canadian rules are the same for eggs, but I'll double check. So examples of pasture raised would be companies like Vital Farms.
Vital Farms. Happy Eggs, I think, have some. They have a line of it.
I think they have a line of it.
Go to Whole Foods.
But organic really, especially when you're looking at prices of eggs. I mean, I try not to buy eggs in a store unless we absolutely have to. Our girls are not laying nearly as much as they used to. We're getting like 3 to 4, maybe 5 a day.
We're in the middle of a cold snap.
So like even like I had said to Rachel when we were at the animal auction last week, like I will buy eggs from local farmers. Number one, I get to support somebody local. Somebody's in our situation where they got a bunch of chickens, they have extra eggs, they're selling
neighbors
them,
helping
and I'm
neighbors.
able to get them cheap for like $3 to $5 a dozen at the auction. But if you don't have that option, then I would just buy organic eggs, because at least you know they're not being given organic feed. I'd rather non-organic feed.
Yeah.
Next one is from Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Is there a recommendation on how long our meals should last, beginning to end? I tend to linger over meals, enjoying the company of the people I'm with. Breakfast can be a 2-hour affair. Dinner's at least an hour and a half. I eat 2 meals a day, early morning and early evening. There's not really a limit, but honestly, the longer you stretch out your meal, for the there's a couple of downsides to it, but the biggest, it will actually help you if you have a tendency to overeat.
Yeah.
So if you have a tendency to overeat, eat too much, stretching out your meal can help, because it allows your the signals of your brain to tell, or your stomach to tell your brain that, hey, you're full. You know, you'll hear Dr. Sivas talk about, like, you know, put a little bit in front of you and then the rest of the food on the other side of the room or in the other side of the table, where you don't load up your plate. You go over, because in that time it allows your brain to get the signals that you're full. The downside is if you already struggle not eating enough, then you might feel fuller and not eat enough food. So the only thing I would say is, if you're going to stretch your meals out to an hour and a half or 2 hours, make sure that you're eating enough food. I wouldn't stretch it out much past that, because again, every time you eat, you're getting a release of insulin, no matter what it is. Even if you eat beef, even if you eat fat, you are getting an insulin reaction, and your body cannot lose weight in the presence of insulin. So if it takes you 4 hours to eat a meal, then you're going to have an insulin reaction for 4 hours. So I think 1 to 2 hours is a good thing. You're much better off having a longer meal than a shorter meal. Like eating your lunch in 10 minutes is not nearly as healthy for you as stretching it out to an hour.
Well, and if you're thinking, okay, like I want to shorten the time that I'm like eating, you don't have to give up the fellowship time. I think that sometimes, we a lot of times will go and try to frequent restaurants when we go out with like friends that we know don't try to give you the bum's rush right away. So if you're home and it takes you, don't worry. Just because you're sitting at the table and not eating, you don't have to step away from the table. You can just like finish your meal and then stay tarry around that table and like visit with other people. It's not like, well, I need to have an excuse to still be here because I'm not like working or I'm not doing something productive. Fellowshipping with people is something productive.
Yeah.
You are working.
I see Joe is here.
Hey.
Joe said, great surprise to see you guys on Saturday. Drove home through Arcadia and Ave Maria while your gas is 30 cents higher. Depends on the gas station you're going to. By the way, yeah, we met up. Joe was up in the Lakeland area on Saturday, so we went up to Universal Studios.
With Sarah G and Alan.
Sarah and Alan, and then we went and had dinner with Joe and Nancy. It was a great time.
So nice.
But yeah, we have one gas station here that's charging like 30 cents to $1 more than all the other stations. And that's because they're like one of the first ones coming across from the West Coast. So if you're taking 60 across
after a dry spell,
when you don't have another, there's a gas station in Mayaca, and then you have one in Sarasota. So it's like the first station, so they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna charge whatever we want.
Leverage that. But
but when you get into town at Wawa and stuff, it's much cheaper.
Talk about not missing out, even though we've changed. Nancy Tanner brought the most amazing cake pops and fudge to celebrate Joe's birthday. I felt like I had been to a full-scale birthday party, not missing anything. They were beautiful. They were delicious. Like, we had cake as a dessert. It was just a keto friendly option. It was just amazing.
Next one is from Mel.
Hey Mel, my older two boys, 13 and 17, are required to cook one meal each for the family every week. How smart. Awesome. If they do more than one, they get extra computer time that day. My 13-year-old likes to cook hot dogs because they're easy and they're fairly cheap, so I'm happy to buy them. My mom says I used to love hot dogs when I was little, so much so that hot dog was my nickname for a while. But I don't remember ever liking hot dogs. My memory of them has always been ew, and I wouldn't eat them, but now I actually am starting to like them. Only I'm not sure if it's just the fillers in them triggering my sweet tooth or because I do actually like hot dogs. It's frustrating being an overthinker, but I'll continue to enjoy hot dogs until I don't anymore.
So hot dogs are fine on keto. I mean, Dr. Berry has talked about this. There are a lot of differences between the different brands. You can go to the store and buy uncured hot dogs and like that doesn't have any sugar in them. Hard to find, but you can find them. When you're buying hot dogs, I would look at the ingredients and try to find ones that don't have like corn syrup in them.
Right.
So a lot of them, they'll add corn syrup. Most hot dogs, even if you make them at your home, have some kind of filler because it's part of the emulsification process. A lot of times you're going to see milk in them. And again, that is part of the emulsification process. The dirtiest hot dog on the market is still better than eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, sometimes we are so hard. We go from a place in our life where there's just such a, like, anything goes. We're literally living like YOLO when it comes to nutrition. And then when we decide we're going to go keto, it's like you feel so much guilt and condemnation if you're not certain that you're eating a steak from a cow that went to Harvard. Like, there's so much in the middle. And I think it's really important for us to kind of calm down.
The one thing I would say with hot dogs is buy all beef.
Not the lips and buttholes?
Well, the problem, generally, when you're looking at hot dogs, the ones that are like pork, beef, and chicken tend to have more fillers and more ingredients because they're trying to make them taste more like beef hot dogs.
Right.
It's not that the chicken and the pork is necessarily bad for you.
They're just trying to find a uniform taste.
It's cheaper for them to make them, but then they usually add a lot more fillers. Those are usually the ones that have like corn syrup and stuff like that in there. But, I think we generally buy Sabrett's.
Yeah, and I just
Sabrett's is a pretty clean hot dog.
Look for the sales.
The Tetons.
Tetons are awesome.
Those are really good.
I love Teton hot
Aldi
dogs.
has one that is like
a never any.
Yeah, never any, those kind of things. So, but we buy whatever we can find so long as it's all beef.
Now I want a Teton hot dog because those are flippin' delicious.
Next one's from Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
For any of you owning an Nova oven, what do you use to clean it? So I just use oven cleaner. Just go to the store, buy oven cleaner. Only thing I'm going to tell you is when you use the oven, make sure the oven is cool. Do not put it on because of the coating on the inside. If the inside is hot and then you spread that oven cleaner in there. You'll stain the liner because I forget whatever the coating is. That it's not a chemical coating. It's because it's untreated. If you put it in there hot, it'll change colors. The oven will still function, but you'll have these black spots. But just I buy a regular oven cleaner, spray it in there. About 30 seconds later, wipe it all out. Next one is from Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
How is the parking situation at the port, Fort Lauderdale, for the cruise? What is the actual address for GPS? We are driving there from Ohio. We need to leave our car someplace safe. Thank you. I don't know the actual GPS, the address. Just type in Port Everglades. So for the 2KK cruise, we're going out of Port Everglades.
So excited.
You can park off site for like $10 to $15, or you can park on site. I think the current price is $20. There's several parking garages. Royal Caribbean, I don't know which port. I think it might be port 17 or 18 or terminal that they're going out of. They have some that are covered parking lots, some that are not. If you don't mind walking a little bit, I'd park in the covered one. Like if we take our Tesla, I'll park in a covered one because I don't want the air conditioner to turn on the entire time to cool the batteries. But we park at the port even though it's like $5 or $10 more.
Yeah.
The reason I do that is because it's convenient. I don't want to have to wait on a shuttle. What if the shuttle is running behind?
Yes.
It's nice to show up at the port. Just you pay it when you leave, and then when you literally roll your bag right there, or you can go over, drop one person off with the bags in the front and then go park, or just wheel your bags. It's pretty close to the terminal. And then when you are done with your cruise, you don't have to wait for a shuttle.
Right.
And to me, that's worth an extra $5 or maybe $10 a day. If you ever go out of Miami, by the way, on Royal Caribbean, don't park at Royal Caribbean's Terminal A, which is $35 a day. Park at Terminal B, which is like less than 100 yards away.
Yes.
And it's only $22 a day.
It's crazy, but okay.
Yep. Next one is from Teressa again.
Hey, Teresa. This one is for Rachel. I watched your YouTube today and you answered my question well, but how much is one coffee experience a day? Is it a 12-ounce mug with my breakfast? For me, my one coffee experience today is like a flower pot with a handle. Like it's a Pyrex. Like what's the biggest Pyrex bowl? Put a handle on that. That's my one coffee experience
So
today.
this is in reference to beef butter bacon egg. So in beef butter bacon egg, Dr. Barry says one coffee experience a day. And we specifically, if you go watch our interview with him when we helped him like introduce beef butter bacon egg, and we did the 45 days on it like 3 years ago, we asked him specifically, what is one coffee experience? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Have as big of a cup as you want, but only one time a day.
Right.
Like, and don't have a big cup and that cup takes you 5 hours. That's cheating. Like, have a cup, if it takes you an hour to sip it, fine. So if it's 24 ounces, 28 ounces, whatever. But one a day. And he talks about one of the reasons being is because this is about getting in touch with your hunger hormones. This is about, satiation. And a lot of times we will drink fluids other than water, whether it be soda or coffee or anything else, to help quench our hunger. We drink that coffee, like Dr. Sivas actually calls it a bridge, and it can have a place, but not in beef butter bacon egg.
No.
Where instead of eating, you take a sip of coffee.
How many times have you had like, hey, my lunch for today? I can remember like even as a high schooler, my lunch was like a Diet Coke and an apple.
Right.
Like it was just enough to try to I was trying to trick my mind that this beverage,
filling up with fluids.
My grandmother called it belly wash, and that was really accurate, because it was like, this is not something that is nutritious, not something that you need. It's literally when your hunger cues are calling out to be answered, you are just like answering it, like trying to tap it down with a carbonated beverage to fill your stomach. Your body is smarter than you are giving credit for. Your body does not take that drink and be like, oh, okay, I am satisfied now. No, it needs authentic fuel. And I'm going to tell you, this is your public service announcement right now. If you are interested in doing the beef butter bacon and egg course with us, start weaning off of caffeine now. If you don't do anything to kind of try to like stair step down your coffee consumption, you can look forward to 12 to 13 days of really not feeling good during triple B and E. It's not that the beef is hurting you. It is not that like you've got some sort of problem with like the eggs or whatever. Usually when people feel miserable on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, it is because they are cutting out their caffeine.
Yeah. So, I mean, so again, it doesn't matter what size because you're not adding cream or sweetener to it anyway. And at least that's for beef, butter, bacon, and egg. Next one is from Marnie.
Hey, Marnie.
Y'all should be calling it beef, butter, bacon, egg, and C since you're encouraging coffee, which is a bean and plant-based. I can see eliminating artificial sweeteners and heavy cream in your coffee, but if Keto Brains helps someone with mental health and focus issues, such as those that work in an office, don't stop using it during your beef, butter, bacon, egg, and C.
Cute.
So, yeah, the beef, it's always been called beef, butter, bacon, egg, and it is always said that you can have one coffee a day. That is from day one when Dr. Berry, started talking about it with us 3 years ago. It has always been that you could have one coffee experience a day. So, and again, it's not just the artificial sweeteners in the cream. What if you have issues with coconut? So again, I would try, this is regards to one last week, try it with Keto Brains. I would try to do a week or two without Keto Brains and then add it. But this is about eliminating things, and we love Keto Brains, but there are ingredients in Keto Brains.
That are beyond
MCT oil in there.
Beef, butter, bacon, and egg.
You do have, different nootropics in there, so it's just something to think about.
Because Keto Brains is a little different as a creamer because it's, it is trying to do a job, but it is interesting to me.
And there are sweeteners in it.
It's very interesting to me whenever we do triple B and E. It's a good reminder that how much I really love my coffee. Do I really love my coffee, or do I really love my creamer, my keto-friendly sweetener, like the cinnamon that I'm sprinkling on top of it, the whipped cream that I'm topping it with? Like, am I drinking coffee for coffee, like the black water, or am I drinking coffee for the party that comes with it?
Yeah. Next one is from Tanya.
Hey, Tanya.
Lately, I've decided to live more fully in love and light instead of fear and
Yay.
darkness. In fact, that's why I'm applauding Joe and Rachel while watching on replay. Quality of this channel remains top-notch, always going above and beyond production value. Please ignore the sorry excuse of a person who clearly doesn't appreciate what's offered here.
Wow, thanks, Tanya.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
I really appreciate it when people leave those positive comments.
It means so much.
It really does. Thank you very much. Next one is from Teressa.
Hey, Teresa.
Thank you for the answer to my question. I'm going to figure out what is causing inflammation. I will start by cutting back caffeine. I love my coffee. I also love my Keto Brains. I will wait until you would challenge to do the beef, butter, bacon, egg challenge so that I have community to help me through.
Yes, that really does make it fun. And I will say, if you've ever done beef, butter, bacon, and eggs with us before, every single day I post in Mighty Networks a new badge. Like for every day that we do it, like you're collecting all of the virtual badges, and I've already designed all of them, and they're focused this time wholly on ruminant animals throughout the world, because it's interesting, we only think within the box that we live, right? Like we're thinking, okay, well, that is like a cow and that is a bison and all this kind of stuff. Then you maybe you move to an area that's got like hunting and like deer hunting, and you're like, oh, a deer is also a ruminant animal. There's a lot of ruminant animals in the world.
Yep.
It's kind of cool.
Next one is from Melinda.
Hey, Belinda.
Question, I usually go to bed at 10 p.m. What time should I take my last element raw so I don't have to get up during the night to go to the bathroom?
Here we are.
So this is about today's topic. We talked a little bit about Andy earlier. So I know the name sounds weird, but basically going to the bathroom at night, when you Google it, you're going to see don't drink salt. You're going to see don't drink water. Like, you're going to see all these kind of silly recommendations.
Wives' tales.
Understand a lot of that is geared towards people on the standard American diet.
Yes.
Okay. Increasing your three main electrolytes of sodium, potassium, and magnesium at night will help you with not going to the bathroom at night. My suggestion is do some electrolytes within an hour of going to bed. If you're doing magnesium, like we do the magnesium capsules from Keto Chow. I take those right before bed, it helps me to sleep, and I don't have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I need to start giving them to Tabitha. But, you know, do them throughout the day. But if you do some, whether it be element raw or salty raw, or even if you're having one that has a flavoring in it, about an hour before bed I wouldn't do it much further out from there. You can do it right before bed. The other big thing that causes nighttime urination is alcohol.
Yes.
Like drinking alcohol, if you're having a big glass of wine at night, like, you know, especially if it's after dinner or a couple hours, that can cause you to get up and go to the bathroom overnight.
Yes.
So whenever you drink, you generally will pee a lot more. Your body's trying to get rid of that alcohol.
It's toxic.
Last one we have is from Charles.
Hey, Charles.
I'm very interested in Joe's perspective in grass-fed beef. I currently only eat grass-fed beef. It's for minimal. If it's a minimal difference in quality, I want to go the less expensive route. Help me, Joe.
Sure.
Okay, so I left a link down below for a Low Carb USA podcast interview that Dr. Peter Ballerstad did on this subject.
The sod father, as he is known.
There's probably nobody in the keto space that can explain grass-fed versus grass-finished, grass-fed, grass-finished versus grain-finished
beef
soil better than
expert.
him.
Yeah.
I also left a link to his YouTube channel. He doesn't do a lot on there, but
he's fun.
He's a great guy, and he's very knowledgeable. But to shorten up, here's the thing. Again, a lot of this is, I don't want to use the term misinformation because of the political climate around that word, but it's misinformation, okay? It's, for example, if you Google benefit of grass-finished beef, the number one benefit of grass-finished beef is it is less fatty and lower in saturated fat and less cholesterol.
Right.
None of those should matter to you on a ketogenic lifestyle. Saturated fat is good for you. The problem is most of the market that they are marketing to for grass-finished beef, they're not marketing it to keto people, to carnivore people. They're marketing to people on a standard American diet
that are afraid of
who
fat,
have been led to believe that saturated fat and cholesterol is bad. There is no link between dietary cholesterol and body cholesterol. So eating cholesterol does not cause your cholesterol to go up. So it's kind of like them putting a label on, you know, poultry saying antibiotic and hormone free, but it all is antibiotic and hormone free.
Did you know
it's the same thing
that any of the fancy steakhouse restaurants that you're going to, that you're thinking, I am getting the best steak ever because I'm paying a premium price, do you know that none of them are using grass-fed, grass-finished? Why? Because it doesn't
taste as good.
Well, and to get the levels of like choice and prime and all of those, that has to do with the level of marbling with the meat.
There's, like, for example, there is no such thing as a prime cut grass-finished beef. Yeah. No such thing. So the other thing is that most people don't know, and this is something that Dr. Ballerstad talks a lot about. All cattle is fed grass most of its life.
Yes.
All cattle, no matter if you're going to Walmart and buying the chub of 73/27 ground beef, that cattle was pasture raised for most of its life.
And it's cheaper for the farmer too.
So here's the thing. On average, cattle spend, when you have a feedlot cattle, so you have cattle that is grass-fed, all cattle is grass-fed for most of its life. Some cattle move off to a feedlot for the last 3 to 6 months of their life to fatten them up. It's not only about fattening them up. It's also about where are they being raised. You cannot raise cattle, for example, in Omaha year-round on pasture. They have to come out of the elements. Companies also know that when you have cattle, when you put them under stress, that affects the quality of the meat. And so they don't want them in a feedlot for a long time. And even when they're in a feedlot, they are not only being given grain.
Right.
They are being given a combination of hay and grass and grains. The grains does fatten them up. My opinion, grain finished beef tastes better.
It's fatty.
It's got more fat on it. It's got a better marbling on it. If you can find, when it comes to grain finished, if you can find organically finished beef, that would be the best option.
Fantastic.
Because then you know that their grain that they're being given is pesticide free. It's organic. It's hard to find that because the government basically gives them the corn and grain and stuff for free. They can get it really cheap. In Florida, very difficult to find a local farmer who will have a grain finished cattle. And the reason being is it costs a lot of money to bring that grain to finish them in. So we really don't have feedlots here in Florida. But all of the cattle, like the cheapest beef you're going to buy, it is all grass fed. So when you see grass fed, all cattle is grass fed.
Think about, we have to be really, I think we have to maintain a calm as consumers, because most marketing is designed for you to either stop worrying, like don't worry, this is just like, come on, let this thing in because it's pretty benign. Like if it's dangerous, they want to play down the side effects. And if it's something that is not a big deal, they want to magnify it, make you scared of it. Either way, either direction is trying to point you to the checkout button. They're trying to sell their product. So when you see something, whether it's like, meh, you can let your guard down about this, or you can see that there is a concentrated effort to make you afraid to do anything but buy this product. This is the only thing. This is the only cow that is safe for you to eat. Take a step back and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This feels like high pressure marketing. Like, why should I be like buying this beef crying? Because I'm thinking that it's either I have to eat this, $25 a pound steak, or I don't get to have steak.
Yeah, like when it comes to beef, buy what you can afford.
Exactly.
I would tell you this, though. So let's say you had $100 budget for beef. And you have three options. You can buy the cheapest Walmart stuff, but you want a better quality. You could buy grass-fed, grass-finished from Whole Foods. Or you can go to a local farmer, a local rancher, and buy grass-fed, grain-finished. If I would choose the local farmer, if you can afford it, I would say, and generally it will be about the same price as grass-fed, grass-finished from
the store.
A store. I would tell you that, in my personal opinion, the healthier option out of those three, the best option for sustainability in this country to help people would be the last one. Meaning the best beef that you can buy, if those were your three options, would be locally raised, grass-fed, grain-finished if you have it. That is better than buying a store brand of grass-fed, grass-finished. Also understand a lot of the store brands of grass-fed, grass-finished are not coming from the United States. They're coming from other countries, and they've been greenwashed and not following the same laws. But when you buy from a local farmer, number one, you are supporting your local farmer or rancher. Number two, you many times can learn the farming practices of that farmer.
You can see what the conditions are.
A lot of times you're going to be able to find out, are they doing regenerative farming? Are they moving the cattle around? Also, when you're going to a local rancher, you are avoiding, local ranchers may have to use antibiotics if their cattle get sick, but they are going to be, they're going to have to do it much less than a feedlot situation.
You can imagine.
If cattle gets moved into a feedlot for the last 3 to 6 months of their life, and when they're in that feedlot, they're around more cattle, they're more stressed, therefore they can get sick quicker, therefore they may need more antibiotics quicker. So those are all things like the best option would be to go to a local rancher.
Yeah.
It may cost you more money, but if you're looking for health, if money is no object, the number one thing you should be looking for is a local rancher. That is much more important than grass-finished beef.
And you can buy shares. You don't have to buy the entire cow. And you can,
farmers markets, you can sometimes buy just 2 or 3 steaks.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, let's jump right into the comments. Yeah, I think it was Joe said, none of my A5 Wagyu is grass-fed. Well, it's all grass-fed, but it's not grass-finished. Yeah, so people, Wagyu is the greatest form of beef. There's no such thing as grass-finished Wagyu.
It's how proud is that farmer and how good is that marketing? I'm telling you, like if I say, people who wear gray, ball caps that are gray that say nose to tail on them are the best. That is the absolute best, except no substitutes. It's going to cover your head better. It's going to keep the sun off. You look better in it. Like if I try to be like really convincing, like this, it's only gray hats with nose to tail on the hat. Like it's how they market it, right? They're trying to convince you I've got the best product.
Yeah, I mean, the thing people don't understand, it takes 2 years to go from birth to shelf. 2 years, birth to slaughter. That's how long it takes. So, when you hear, well, cattle may spend 3 to 6 months in a feedlot, or 3 to 6 months being supplemented grain to fatten them up and give better marbling, it's only about a third of their life.
Right.
Most of their life, they're on pasture. They couldn't afford to just slam them all into, into a feedlot all the time. There wouldn't be enough ways to do it and keep them healthy. The other thing Dr. Ballerstadt talks about is the fact that there's more and more studies that actually have shown that depending on the farming techniques, a lot of times grass finished, actually people talk about the environmental aspects. Grass finished actually adds more problems to environmental things or more methane than a feedlot type of cattle. Christina said, I grain finished my cow, but grain only once a day and once a month. And 1 month, and he tastes amazing and is also very loved.
That's the other thing too, as people who are keto, we know that like our food source has to lose its life so that we can maintain our life. That's why people are like, why are you so ridiculously passionate about like raising? I could never like kill something that I eat. Like we're killing anytime I eat, something is died. Right? Yeah. Because I eat mostly meat. So for us, we're really passionate, and farmers are passionate about like having like these animals having a great life and one bad day, right? Like, I mean, we're all going to die. We're all going to have one bad day, but like them enjoying their life is really important to us, that they have the ability to live a chicken life, right? Or turkey life.
Lady Francis said, we need more ranchers reclaim the land from Bill Gates.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize, like, Bill Gates is one of the largest landowners, and he's buying up all the pasture land, which is one of the reasons beef costs more money, because you have to
They have to rent from him now.
And I'm without getting too political, but since we all eat meat here, I want you to think about this for a minute. Why they buy up all the land, they want everybody to go vegan. Why? And they say it's for the environment. Mm-hmm. And then they sell you things like Beyond Burger.
Impossible Burger.
The Impossible Burger.
Beyond Meat.
Those things have more chemicals. They are not healthier for you.
They're a science experiment.
And we did a whole video on it. I mean, again, they are in no way healthy for you. Their main ingredient is seed oils. And on top of all of that, that stuff adds more pollution for the environment than cattle. So for all the people that say cattle are horrible for greenhouse gases, what about the soy, which is the main ingredient in all that stuff? The farming of the soy, the transportation of the soy, that is 10 times worse for the environment. So what is the real root? Why do they really want us to not eat beef? I have my own theories. I will not discuss it here. If we're ever a meeting person, I'd happy to discuss it with you, but I will get demonetized if I say what I really think. But it's not about your health. It's not even about the animals. I will say that. They're not trying to get you to beyond stuff to make you healthier. There's another reason for it.
Well, and I think that as a discussion about like seed oils are bad is being like more talked about, like that fact that seed oils are not in fact heart healthy, they're not good for you, they're super inflammatory to your body, expect there to be a loud outcry from big food because baby formula has seed oils in it.
It's cheap.
It's cheap. A lot of these like fake food has seed oils in it. They're not making veggie burgers with avocado oil. Like they're just not using those because they're using cheaper products, right? And putting a premium price on it and saying like, well, this is a virtuous way to eat because, no lives are lost. The life you save may be your own if you switch to eating meat and abandoning that.
Teressa said, I drink coffee sometimes, but almost every day I drink decaf green tea from Trader Joe's.
There you go.
Hot or cold. It only comes out at this time of the year. Candy cane green tea. You should go look for that.
How neat is that? And that can be your experience. If you're like, hey, that's not going to be a problem. I am not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker. This is what we do also on Triple B and E is expect to be like, we're one tea experience a day.
Ray said, I drank a quarter of a keto chow with a perfect keto beauty and sleep in it, or yogurt with BNS. A half hour before I go to sleep and I wake up once.
That is
I try out some electrolytes.
That line is very delicious, and Perfect Keto will have sales too. If you're interested in like trying what Risa is trying with their beauty sleep blend, they have like collagen powders. They've got some good MCT powders. They have a line of electrolytes if you're interested in it, and they always have a great big Black Friday sale. In fact, I think it's going on right now.
John said, I don't do coffee, but I do get the same amount of caffeine as 16 ounces of coffee from my Monster Zero. Now remember, with beef butter, bacon, egg, and other things, it's not the caffeine. It's not why you're limited for the caffeine.
It's
you're
all the
limited
stuff we put
as
in
we
it.
talked about before, the stuff you're putting in it, but also because a lot of times we use it to make us not eat. And and part of the thing with beef butter, bacon, egg is getting in touch with your true hunger cues.
And the sweeteners in either our coffee or the sweeteners in like this, Monster Zero that you're talking about, like the sweeteners give us messages that are like in, our brain, it's like, what do I do with this? A lot of times people are like, I've got, you're trying to maybe keep that sweet tooth at bay because it's got a voice of its own, right? So when we're doing Triple B and E, we've silenced that voice so that we can hear for our true hunger and true satiation cues.
Yeah. The other thing, by the way, I'm reading through things about sleep. Caffeine will also cause, if you drink a bunch of caffeine right before bed, that can cause you to have to go to the bathroom at night too because it's a diuretic.
For some people, I find that more high protein in my last meal of the day also gives me better sleep. And I know, you've got to do your N=1 experiment for yourself, but that's something that helps me. If I eat something that, if it's very like high in carbohydrates for the rest of my meals, like let's say you save those Brussels sprouts and you save a salad and stuff like that for your last meal of the day, I would say move those up because remember, our body wants to like burn through the carbohydrates first before we get to, like the fat and the protein and all that kind of stuff. So that sometimes can make me still a little bit fidgety at night. So I will move, if I want something green, as Joe says, I'll move it to like lunch or breakfast time.
Dustin said, I saw a video a while ago from Dr. Bird that mentioned sleep apnea also as a factor in nighttime urination. Yes, it can be.
And keto really helps with sleep apnea.
Yep. So I saw, Dustin said, Walmart carries, which every fake meat is, it now shows avocado oil, and the ingredients do not mention seed oils. Now, is the avocado oil 100%? Who knows? Again, yeah, unless they're going to break down what the avocado oil is, and we also know that a lot of them aren't really avocado
Like Joe
oil.
is saying, baby formula, seed oils, and high fructose corn syrup. Yes. If you're like, I'm looking for doom scrolling, go to the baby section of your local grocery store and check out what is in Pediasure, what is in like the meals that, the kind of like wannabe for toddlers, Carnation instant breakfast. It's like, oh, well, your baby's not, eating a lot. So like, let's give her this kind of like baby boost type of stuff. It is, first of all, the ingredients are like this much. You can't say most of them. And it's really upsetting because you're thinking this is what's going to the most vulnerable parts of our population.
Yep.
Like giving little babies that. and wondering, why are they crying? Why are they fidgeting? Why can't they get settled? Well, if I give you a ball of sugar, if I give you something, like, you're going to be antsy, and I don't know why things hurt either, right? I'm going to give you a bunch of seed oil and sugar. You're going to have inflammation. Babies are little humans, right? They're still humans.
Yeah. The thing is like, when it comes to, like, if you have a mother who can't breastfeed for whatever reason, the next best option is actually goat milk over formula.
Yeah.
Next one we have, John said, farming vegetables kills more animals than raising animals to eat.
True.
It does.
Very true.
Annette said, I think folks should be more concerned about the beef's country of origin rather than it was grass or grain finished. Yep, that's what I was talking about.
That is always the case. And I mean, even with the vegetables, you know, when people are kind of like, I can buy this vegetable made in the USA versus an organic vegetable that's like made from some other country, make sure that you are seeing the actual definition of what is organic in that country of origin, because you might find that it's actually better. Like, the practices here for a regular growing of food may be, you know, stricter than the organic in that other country. Again, it's a marketing ploy for you to be like, well, these are organic, but it's organic based on the standards of that country of origin, not the United States standards.
Squally said, I know, Joe, they want to keep us sick and they want to make money. Yep, that's a big part of it.
It's not personal.
Lady Fritzer said, I guess I have to go to a function to ask Joe that question, or maybe Mighty Networks. No, I will never put it in writing.
So you have to go to a function.
You'll have to come to a function. Yeah. Dustin, we worry about cows, but not the millions of airline flights every day.
It's like, and I know that, you know, I don't want anybody to live afraid. I really just don't. But it's always interesting to me what people double down on, because again, you've got somebody that's like really yelling loudly about this issue. But yes, it's like, talk about not seeing the forest for the trees, yelling about like the cows and like ticky-tacking over that. And it's like, the amount of gasoline and emissions and everything that costs to bring a grain product to sale.
Yeah.
To the marketplace.
Well, here's the thing.
It's crazy.
When it comes to, you know, they talk about like all of this methane, and it's like the leading thing in agriculture, and cows cause so much global warming. They're manipulating statistics.
Right.
You can manipulate any statistic to tell the information that you want it to tell.
We have a tractor. We have like farming equipment. Do you know what? We put gasoline in those farming equipment.
Well, we put diesel.
Right? But I'm just saying, like, there's emissions from things. Like, and then when you've harvested all of the grains and stuff like that, you're processing them into plants, and then
Well, what I'm talking about is with the cattle, like they'll say like cattle itself has all of this, but they're really not giving you the right number, because it's really that number they're giving you is the percentage within a grouping within agriculture, but they don't say that. They'll say like 70% of greenhouse is related to cattle, but that's not true. It's 70% of livestock within the agricultural industry, which is only like 2% of overall global warming.
That doesn't fit on a bumper sticker, though.
Right.
So if you have some bumper sticker rhetoric.
But it's easier to go just 70%. But 70% of what? They're not telling you the whole truth.
Right.
You know, and this is not a knock on vegans. If somebody wants to be a vegan because they absolutely love animals and never want to see an animal die, I completely support that.
Yes, I understand that.
But do not tell me that it is healthier, and do not tell me that it is better for the environment, because neither are true. And so that's where I start to get upset, is when they have this agenda going, well, veganism is healthier for you, and we all need to be vegan because it's better for the environment. It's simply not true.
Be vegan
as we saw,
that's your
raising vegetables, raising any kind of farming will cause more greenhouse emissions. Yeah, Dustin said pasture-raised cattle is still most likely carbon neutral. Bobby Jove said, I bought a quarter of a cow a few years back. It was 100% grass-fed. The meat was too lean. I was adding fat to be able to eat it. Yeah, most of the time you do.
You're going to find that with deer meat, too. I find a lot of times we have to add, like, some, fat to it. There's different, ruminant animals are leaner. And, yeah, you've got to add a little bit of fat to it.
John said, check your Mighty Network messages. I sent a message a few days ago. I'll check it. I must have missed it. Dustin said should be marches in Washington, but it's not even a thing to most people.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're going. Yeah, Jeannie said I feed my cat raw. I usually do with red dog, blue cat. I live in Canada. Yeah, we don't have cats anymore, but we will eventually get cats, especially like barn cats. Knowing what I know now, we will never buy cat food. Like when we get cats back, because cats are carnivores.
Yeah, true carnivores.
They're true carnivores.
We always say that there's no human civilization's ever been completely carnivore, but there are cat populations that have absolutely been. They are absolutely.
We'll end with this one. It's disgusting that they give babies and young children seed oils. The beginning of life should be a time to give them the healthiest ingredients. Terrible.
So true.
That literally babies are addicted to sugar the day they're born. So a lot of people don't know. Many times in a hospital, when they take that baby from the mom,
to take the temperature
to go, so maybe the mom can recuperate for a few hours. They give them like glucose drops to quiet them down.
And it does, right? Like
when they take the baby pictures in the hospital, they give them glucose drops to make them smile. They literally are getting them addicted to sugar the day they're born.
And again, I don't want anybody to be fearful, but remember, think about this as like a big food perspective. You are creating future customers. If you can have a toddler by the time they're eating Gerber graduates already addicted to sugar, basically, just like this Frankenfood, it makes it much easier for them to keep that person as a client.
Yep.
Because now you're going to get preschool sugar bombs, then you're going to have elementary lunchbox sugar bombs, and then you're just going to move into middle school and high school and adulthood with more and more dependency. They're just coming for us younger and younger.
Yep. Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We will not be having a live stream on Thursday. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving. So if you're going to be with family, enjoy time with your family. If you're going to be with friends, enjoy your time with your friends. If you're going to be working, please take care of yourself. We care about everybody who has to work on Thanksgiving.
Safe travels.
We may do one on Friday, but I'm not quite sure yet. We're going to see how our schedule goes. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you click the bell button. And again, we're going to have a couple of Black Friday deals. Look for early Thursday morning. Look for the Keto Chat one. You are not going to want to miss it. Please, we really appreciate it if you use our links. It is really how we are able to keep doing this. It is our job. It is what allows us to pay our bills. And when you use those links, it doesn't cost you any money, but it does throw us a few pennies. And we really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you so much. Everybody have a great day.
We love you.
Bye.